Overthinking. Overthinking can be a superpower, an absolute superpower. But like all things, you need to sharpen your tools. You need to make sure that you are using it for the correct measurements. You need to be using it in the appropriate fashion, the appropriate situation. If you are daydreaming, thinking about food, or thinking about an ex-girlfriend, or thinking about an argument you had 2 weeks ago, that is not an appropriate use of your powers, is it? It's no different to if Mr. Incredible, the superhero with this super strength, just started breaking stuff and damaging stuff and destroying the world. It is an irresponsible use of his powers. So what do you have instead? How can you use overthinking as a superpower? Well, you look at it and you go, where in my life do I fall short? How can I improve everything? How can I make my whole machine, my factory, efficient? Well, first of all, you look at it. You look around you. You observe everything around you. And you then send your overthinking mind into the spaces in which you are missing things. And where are you missing things? Well, you are the expert in that. And we already know where we fall short. So then we can overthink and see a linear timeline of your life in a better place, in extreme graphic detail. And if you're thinking or doubting that you can't do this, absolutely you can. If you can overthink and picture an ex-girlfriend vividly in your mind and bring up those memories, then you can easily do the same thing with where you want to be in life. You can overthink the character you want to play. You can overthink the clothes they would wear, their smell, what they eat, who they're with, what kind of lifestyle they're at, what kind of heat do they feel. Are they living in the sun? Do they live in the cool? All these things, all these different aspects. But you must direct this thought. Otherwise you're going to struggle. And you must not let it get mixed in between all the other negative thoughts. Because we have an unlimited reserve, a bit like a tiara, a mental tiara, of incoming thoughts at all times. And they'll be floating in this asteroid field of thoughts, right? And all you have to do is you have to ignore all of them and you have to just create a brand new one. Create a brand new one. If I tell you to imagine Lego Star Wars right now, it's very likely you can imagine Lego Star Wars. In any aspect of which it comes to your mind, it's going to create a picture. Or a yellow polar bear. Can you picture it? A bright yellow, bumblebee yellow polar bear. It's got its fur dyed. You can picture that in your mind. You just saw it. So if you can do that, then you can do all the rest of it. You can make this happen. It is not that hard. So once you have your character in mind, once you understand what are they doing, what is their daily life like, then you can start to step into the shoes of who they are. You know, if you're not wearing the same clothes as them, over time, start getting rid of your old clothes, give them away, you know, put them in a charity bin, and eventually try and get little pieces of clothing that eventually make up the character in which you're trying to portray. Let's say I see a cowboy in my mind. He's got a hat, he's got a nice kind of shirt, he's got maybe even a waistcoat. Perhaps he's got some jeans and some boots and a horse. You know, start off with perhaps the shirt, the easiest thing to acquire from all of this. And already you've made quite the difference. Then get yourself some nice jeans. Bam. Now you have half your character. Then you need your hat. Then you need your boots. And suddenly, anyone from an outside perspective is going to recognise that as a cowboy very, very easily. And you just add on from there and there and there, and you just bring in the detail. And because you now are equipped with your overthinking superpower, you can then add in even more. Perhaps they have a beard, perhaps they have thick facial hair, or maybe it's shaven. You know, long hair, short hair, curly, straight, blonde, brunette, black, white. What are you going for? So once these details start to come aboard, then suddenly we have a picture. Now, where is that cowboy going to live? You get what I'm saying. But if you can overthink everything else, then you can overthink important things. You can overthink your bedtime, you can overthink your food, you can overthink the time you wake up. And eventually you'll suddenly just start living a very different life by overthinking in a healthier way. Because the thing about overthinkers is some people just don't overthink. There are people that don't overthink and they just kind of go from A to B. Or maybe they do nothing, as an overthinker may do. Because an overthinker will either be an analysis paralysis, not being where they want to be, but thinking about loads of other stuff that's irrelevant to their life and where they want to be. Or they will be overthinking their way into momentum, skyrocketing their progress and creating that dream life which they've always wanted. Being an overthinker is great, but use it for your advantage. Every single person in the world has a superpower which they either are aware of and they're using for the good of themselves and for mankind, or they have a superpower which they have neglected and are using for bad. That's it. It's very black and white, because the world is black and white. There's no light without dark. It's very simple. The universe is extremely giving. You get what you put in. So if you can think your way in a positive way to your direction, then you have a destination. And you are closer to that destination than before you started. And eventually you'll be there, and then you can overthink and add more and add more and add more. But you can do this. It's beautiful. You can create the most magnificent art piece. You can be the next Michael Jackson, you can be the next Michelangelo. But you must start. You must practice. Superpowers. Every single superhero struggled with their powers at first. Spider-Man struggled with his powers. Captain America struggled with his powers. All of them struggled with their powers. And each incarnation, each time they try, like think of Iron Man. Iron Man builds a new suit. He adapts the next suit for the previous situation that went wrong. He makes it better and better and better. And this is how you do it. So just keep doing it. All of this stuff is very obvious because the universe made it easy. But it is actually hard when things are easy. So you must be willing to take the easy path when you're given it. Because the more you separate yourself from the easy path, the more you delay it, the harder it becomes. Because now you're not familiar with how easy this attraction process is. It is easy. You just have to do it. And you have to do it every day. And you have to do it again and again and again and again and again. Until you are layers of that person. Because right now, you are layers of the person you do not want to be. There are layers, there are habits, there are facades, there's all this stuff that if you're watching this far, you know that there's stuff you want to change, which means you've layered up pieces of yourself which you don't want to be. So start layering up the pieces you do want to be until it just becomes a brand new thing. The ship of Theseus is many different parts of the same ship, but each part is changed from the original design. But that ship is still the ship of Theseus. That is you. You just have to change everything. One piece at a time, one piece at a time, one piece at a time. Be, and you will be. That's it. Have an amazing day, guys. It is not as difficult as we think. You just have to remove the distractions, ignore the pain, because this process is going to be consistently irritating, consistently tiresome, and consistently painful until you get used to it. It's no different from the gym, it's no different from any diet, it's no different to any other change. But if you want to be someone different, you must listen to this and be who you're supposed to be.